As much as we all want change and we all want growth, the future will remain unpredictable, but the human condition remarkably steady. And what that means for you is that opportunity will always attract the bold before it even attracts the crowd. So I want you to go into this year being bold and standing up for what it is that's important to you. Because if it's important, it gets prioritized. And if it's not a priority, it just won't happen. That's just life.
The idea of job security is outdated as a landline. If you haven't been in a search for a while, it's probable you will at some point, by choice or not. Most executives admit to staying way too long, or sense what's coming and justify staying anyway. There's another reason. The faulty belief that navigating to what's next will inevitably be worse and has to suck. Screw that. Loren Greiff has spent a lifetime in corporate and executive search, calling bullshit on stale career advice that most still use. This is Career Blast in a Half, the career podcast for executives ready to cut past outdated career advice to fuel your outcomes now. So let's go.
Hello and Happy New Year. Happy 2025. And for those of you who haven't listened to Career Blast in a Half, welcome. We are here every Wednesday, and I am here especially for you if you are in your job search, if you want to know what's on the forefront of your career and how the trajectory is going. We come here with guests, and we're always here to bring you the latest and the greatest without any of the fluff. So today, what I want to talk to you about is what are the things that are going to be staying the same that you can rely on, the predictability, the things that you know are the anchors in your career, and then what you can expect are going to be the changes. So we're talking about this because I want you to be able to balance both the things that keep you balanced and also sane, not to mention the areas for upskilling and reskilling and all that other kind of stuff so that you are prepared. This is a huge year. And I don't say that just because it's a new year. I'm saying it because this is a confluence of a lot of different factors that are coming at the same time. So put your earbuds in, go for a walk, take notes, do what you need to do. You'll have the transcript. But before I go any further, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being a loyal listener, and thank you also for sharing your time with us because there is a real shortage of that going around. So we are not going to mince any words, and you are just going to get the straight value right from me and directly to you. So let's start with the 5 forces, the unchangeable forces that will never expire. These will be the same in 2065. I know that seems like a lifetime from now. However, you can rely on these. And the first thing I need you to know is that as much as we all want change and we all want growth, the future will remain unpredictable, but the human condition remarkably steady. And what that means for you is that opportunity will always attract the bold before it even attracts the crowd. So I want you to go into this year and all others being bold and standing up for what it is that's important to you. Because if it's important, it gets prioritized. And if it's not a priority, it just won't happen. That's just life. The second unchangeable force is that the risk is typically where you can't see it and maybe where you can't hear it. So our radar misses more than it actually catches. And this really points to your ability to be prepared and to be clear about what you are consuming. So if you're consuming a lot of information that may not be backed by a source of authority or data, you might want to reconsider. Also, what I want to say is you really want to consider the source, because sometimes we have people in our lives and they are afraid of the risk that you want to take. and that's for their own reasons. So always consider the source, because you don't want to miss out on opportunities just because someone else says X, Y, and Z if it doesn't align for you and your core beliefs, right? Number 3, this force will never, ever change. So I'm going to bring it to you straight. Overnight tragedies and long-term miracles. What I mean by that is that your best moves, you're probably not going to be making headlines with those. So the smartest career decisions that you're making probably feel very boring. Not even probably. Nobody's like announcing a parade because you want to make a particular move or pivot or even return back to work. That is your internal celebration. Remember, those things are happening, but that they take time. There is no such thing as overnight success. So if you are looking at other people and what they may be doing in their careers or their job search, just know it was a long time coming, and you might want to ask them about that. How did this happen? And then you're probably going to hear a whole diatribe on what their journey was. And that's not a bad thing, because sometimes it can normalize how challenging things can be, because we want what we want and we want it fast, but there is no overnight miracle. Number 4, for the unchangeable forces that you need to rely on is your best story, the best story, it wins. Brains light up when people tell stories. It gets you feeling emotional, laughing, crying, moved beyond belief. And the brain will also go dark with spreadsheets. So pepper your data, because numbers will inform, but stories are there to transform. Your job is to know when to use which one, right? You don't want to just throw out a bunch of data. It needs to have a context, and it needs to be connected with your audience and your listener. So whether you're interviewing or networking or you're presenting, tell stories and tell the ones that made you feel something so that you can share that with them. The last unchangeable that you can rely on, whether it's this year, next year, 10 years from now, or 30 years from now, is that it's supposed to be hard. Whatever that is, maybe you are on a weight loss journey. Maybe you are looking to amp up your fitness. Maybe you are looking just to develop a relationship with somebody who's been super challenging. It's supposed to be hard, and that's because success demands a price from the get-go, right up front. So accept that there's going to be some kind of tax, right? You're going to have to pay up front in order to get the benefit down the road. I promise you that these will stay the same. Let's just go back and repeat them, just so that you have this overview before we jump into the changes that you can expect for 2025. The first one, human nature, will be remarkably steady. Risk, yeah, you don't catch most of it if you're not paying attention. So you miss more than you catch. So be prepared. Number 3, there is no such thing as overnight success, an overnight tragedy, or a long-term miracle. Your choice. The best story, number 4, will always win. And make sure that you are choosing and swapping and swapping between when you use your numbers and when you heighten up the emotion. And the last one, it's supposed to be hard. Yeah, it's supposed to be. So bite the bullet now so that you can get the wins. Let's move on to 2025 and what is going to change and what you need to know. And most importantly, what needs to be applied. This is a huge year, and there's been a lot of digging and resourcing that I've been doing in order to not only prepare for this, but to prepare you so that you have what you need to be successful this year. And the first thing, and no big surprise, right? Come on. If you haven't heard the shouting from the rooftops about AI, yeah, it's like unbelievable how much this has been integrated already into organizations. So what I really want to stress here is it's not AI that we're talking about. It's adoption to adaption. And you can expect, it's actually the number one question that Dan Shapiro over at LinkedIn, the chief operating officer, said was the number one question this last year, 2024, was the number one interviewing question was, tell me about how you use AI in your job. He didn't say job search. He's saying in your job. So if you're in a job search, you can expect that there's going to be a like question there. So how are you using it? How are you adapting to it? How is it integrated? This is not an add-on or a bolt-on, as Connor Grennan would say from NYU. This is a behavior change. So you really want to be making sure that not only are you understanding how it works, how it's being adapted, and already I can see from a lot of the data that we've been sourcing that the integration across each and every function is penetrating faster and faster. So obviously we know organizations are spending a crap ton of cash to automate systems and also to make sure that a lot of the busy work is being absorbed by AI so that you can build out your human skills, which is where we're going in a minute. So note this. AI isn't replacing you, amplifying you. It is saving you all the busy work and administrative backlog that holds you up from doing what needs to be done, which is relationships. We're going to talk about that because the 5 human skills that AI can never replace, here they are. And this is good news. This is the relationship economy. And you may have heard that before, but I want you to remember that this is also juxtaposing with AI. Human connection over technical expertise. You don't need to be an AI master. You just need to be able to start adopting and adapting it so that it becomes second nature. But humanity and relationships and the other ones that I'm going to get to in 1 minute, those are your superpowers. So Anish Raman over at LinkedIn, he's their chief economy officer, talks about these. And these are the 5 C's of the relationship economy. Ready? Here we go. First one, communication. And when I say communication, I'm talking about stealth communication with brevity. You want to be able to say more with less in fewer minutes or in less time to reach more people. Let me say that one more time again. Communications, stealth communication. So you are saying more with less to reach more people in less time. So that's the first one. The second one is critical thinking, problem solving, razor sharp critical thinking. So you are able to demonstrate, regardless of the situation, how resourceful and capable you are in solving complex problems, right? Simplifying complex problems. The third one, in the relationship economy, the 5 C's, creativity. Yeah, here's to that. While AI is handling a lot of these routine things, don't even worry. Let creativity help you as a distinguishing leader. And creativity is also one of those things that is so memorable. Find a commemorative stamp if you're sending a snail mail. Do something like sending somebody a link through LinkedIn, a music vibey thing that will make their day. Those things are memorable and they show your creativity and how much you care. Number 4 of the 5 C's in the relationship economy is shift from the division of labor to linking labor. Yes, of course, there's going to be some hierarchy, but you want to take advantage of linking different sources so that you are creating a more cohesive environment versus an autocratic one. Build out the links, hence LinkedIn, where there's a level playing field and you can always play and link up with people no matter what, no matter when. And the last of the 5 C's in the relationship economy, this is important: empathy, relationships, compassion is your 5th C. And what that means, of course, is making sure that you are considering other people's perspective. We are in a very divisive period of time, and we all, myself, everyone, we need to remember that other people and what they believe and what they think, they're entitled to that perspective, and we don't have to agree with it, but we definitely want to be empathetic towards it and also respectful. So I'm going to go back and remind you of what the 5 C's are in the relationship economy, because these are so important: communication, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and compassion. So those are key as we are moving into this high-tech world without compromising your digital impact, your human impact, right? The next area is all about the gap of the skills gap. I'm not going to get too far into the talent gap, although I will be covering it on LinkedIn and other upcoming episodes, but primarily the skills gap and the need for upskilling and reskilling. This is crazy, but I am going to throw this very important data point out there. According to the World Economic Forum, WEF, 50% of all employees need reskilling by 2025. Not, it is 2025. So some of the areas that are on their short list are some of the ones that we covered, like critical thinking, but the ones that are really surprising to me was social influence, that they're calling this a need for upskilling and reskilling. No kidding, everyone at the same relative starting point for that: cybersecurity, data analytics, and analytical thinking. But this is the question that I have for you. Upskilling, learning, this is on you. Sure, companies and learning and development segments of organizations, those functions, they are focusing in on having more resources to upskill and reskill their employees. However, if you are on the market, this is on you entirely. What that means is that whatever you are doing, whether you are taking courses or upskilling in presentations or hiring a coach, that is all an important and necessary investment. This is not spending money foolishly. This is reinvesting in yourself. And that's really the difference here. Do you want to be Netflix or do you want to be Blockbuster? So the question isn't whether to invest in your growth, it's whether you will do it proactively before your competition does. Because nobody's waiting around to help you upskill. You are 100% in the driver's seat here. The reason why companies are doing this, just so you can hear what's behind this, is because they expect that they're going to be able to save $20,000 per employee at minimum by helping them build their skills internally instead of hiring externally, which could mean that the opportunities may be scarcer, because instead of putting people on either a performance plan or even letting them go, they're going to refunnel those resources back into making a stronger internal workforce. Again, all you, babe, and we're here to help you. Other things that are critical to the job search in terms of upskilling, I'm going to say these, and please, no, these are non-negotiables. Improve your writing, whether that's on LinkedIn or emails, presenting. Lots and lots of amazing people on LinkedIn: Brendan Kumarasamy, Oliver Oust. Those folks are giving away gold every day to help you upskill in terms of presenting. Networking, I'm just going to say do it. So don't wait around to upskill on networking. The only way you're going to get better at that is to continue doing that and see how those referrals are converting. If they're not converting, then you definitely want to assess if that's a skill that you want to focus on. And for most of the executives that we work with, it sure is. They come and they say, hey, you know what? My network is atrophied. Can you help me? And that is definitely an area of strength for us and our clients. Other areas of job search upskilling include your mindset. I always say that my bullshit manufacturing plant lives between my ears, and maybe that's the same for you. So stay away from scarcity, focus in on abundance, and stay certain that if this is important to you and you really want it, that you will find a way to take action and make it happen. And the last one that you really need to focus on in terms of upskilling in your job search, time management. And what I mean by that specifically is, what is the ROI? If you're going to be punching a bunch of apply now, which we know is just a futile effort, how much investment are you spending and how much benefit are you getting? So opportunity cost or ROI, however you want to slice and dice it, but don't take your precious time either on the market or in your career and not get something out of that. So you need to check the effectiveness or the ROI. So I'm going to go back to these learning and development things one last time as they pertain to your job search. Writing, write smart and with brevity. Presenting, go follow Brendan Kumarasamy and Oliver Oust. Networking, just do it. Mindset, make sure that you are staying away from all that negativity and self-doubt. You can train yourself to do that lots and lots of ways that we do that with our clients too, because some of them don't feel like they're coming in on a winning streak or have been out of the market for double-digit years. And of course, they're in their late 40s or maybe early 50s and beyond, and they are not interested in retiring. They want to be working and they want to be earning. And the last one here was time management, understanding the effectiveness of the time that you are doing whatever you are doing, whether it be in your job search or career. What else is coming for 2025? We're going to talk about the EVP or Employee Value Proposition. What this means is that, again, companies are being much, much more careful about making sure that they are not just hiring a bunch of resumes. They want to make sure that any of the candidates that they talk to and any of the people in their organization are really aligned in a very large, but also focused area of value, right? What their values are all about. And what this means is that they are taking new efforts to make sure that there is alignment. And they're building more cross-functional teams and also personalized content to ensure that they are consistently and overarchingly building a culture that aligns to the company's values. Again, this is a retention strategy. So they're doing this to make sure that they're hanging on to the good people that they've got and also tweaking here and there so that they are not just randomly misaligning their culture with generic resumes or generic candidates. They really want to have that so that they are holding on to their good people and saving in terms of the hiring process of $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 when somebody comes in to ramp them up. What also is coming in 2025 or is here already now? We're talking about two different kinds of leadership areas that dovetail or connect to each other. The 360-degree hybrid leader, the one that understands that, guess what? Leadership isn't about where you sit. It's really about how you are making your presence felt, whether it's by pixel or in person. How are you managing teams and other individuals regardless of where they sit? That being said, if you haven't been noticing, I'm going to say it right here in plain and clear. We are in a 6th-generation workforce. So multi-generational leadership, this is a huge one, because by 2030, in 5 years, there's going to be 6 generations in the workforce. Right now, arguably, there's 5. But my point is, whether you are a mature leader and you're over 40, you can expect that half your team or so is going to be from another generation. And I'm not even sure which one. It could be Gen Z, it could be a millennial, it could be a Gen Xer. All of them are a combination, and they each have a very different way of behaving and also communicating and also conducting themselves in the workforce. You, as a leader, need to understand your respective audiences, which are now more varied. As you can see, I'm going to go back through these because we have a lot of cool things that are happening and things I want you to be prepared of. Let me repeat these. The things that are changing, or the things that are showing up in 2025 that you want to be paying attention to, is number 1, AI adoption to adaption. Not enough that you just have some AI under your belt. It's time to adapt it and to make it work with you, for you, in your company as it stands right now, or going forward in your job search. We talked about the 5 human skills that AI will never be able to replace, that live within the relationship economy. We called those the 5 C's, and we did talk about them: communication, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and compassion. We also talked about the emphasis on skilling, upskilling, and reskilling, and how 50% of all employees will need this in 2025. So if you are not getting it through your company, get it yourself, right? We got to do that. It's cost of entry. This is career survival. This isn't a nice to have. And the last one we talked about too is really about employee value propositions, and making sure that you are not just blindly applying to all these places as an executive and not having any understanding. The research is yours to find out of what their employee value proposition is and how that really integrates with yours. And the last one is this idea and the push for hybrid and multi-generational leadership, meaning understanding the dynamics between remote and in-person to lead your teams effectively, and then how that also overlays on top of the now 5 upcoming 6 generations in the workforce. So there you have it. I hope you were writing this all down, because we've got a lot to say, both what's remained the same and what you can expect will change in 2025. Now, a special message just for you. If you've liked this podcast, if you got something out of this that you know is going to be helpful, thank you. Thank you so much for listening. And would you please do me a solid? Please write a podcast review through your phone on Apple Podcast, and also subscribe to our channel, our podcast, so that you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. And please go ahead and share it with your friends. Maybe they're in a job search, or maybe they see something coming and they know that they need to get ahead in their career. With that said, I am so appreciative for all of our listeners, and I want to wish you a wonderful, amazing, exciting, adventure, risk-taking, that means strategic risk-taking year ahead. And we will be seeing you on upcoming episodes. If you have any questions or anything else, you know where to find me. I'm on LinkedIn. I will say goodbye for now and see you next week.
Thank you for joining today. We appreciate your listening ears. Big time. We ask this: use these tools, not tomorrow, right now, and share them by spreading the love, leaving us a rating and subscribe so you don't miss the next Career Blast in a Half. Most of all, thank you for you.